All right, so newsflash, guys. Cry circles are out. Cauldrons are in. Apparently, it's not just snowflakes and fake news and Hollywood who can't stop literally shaking, because this just in, Trump is now triggering Satanists and witches.
You cursed rat! Look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world!
Yep, it's an actual headline. Dark artists worldwide are uniting to cast a spell over President Donald J. Trump. This week, tens of thousands of participants began performing hexes to bind Donald Trump, with a spell that is to be performed at midnight on every waning crescent moon until he is removed from office. The hex itself includes a plea for spirits and demons of infernal realms to, quote, bind Donald J. Trump so that his works may fail utterly. The ingredients for the hex include objects like an orange candle, haha, an unflattering picture of the president, optional sulfur, and black thread, all of which are necessarily to be accompanied by the Tower Tarot card, which, in the event you're curious, is associated with sudden, disruptive, violent, and often destructive change. And it's also the card in the tarot deck which follows immediately after the Devil card. Now I know what you're thinking. What in the hell? Literally. Well, as it turns out, there are a lot of people who are right into this witch and devil worship thing and are really gung-ho to take part in an ongoing curse against the president. Facebook groups associated with the witchcraft weirdness already have tens of thousands of likes, many of whom participated in the first hex, with freak shows from Atlanta to Italy to Ontario, Illinois, and Oregon, even sharing their little voodoo setups with their sinister pals online. What's more, well, they've got not one, but two hashtags, which have even earned the attention and participation of celebrities who are also apparently into black magic. Most notably, singer and songwriter Lana Del Rey, who got tens of thousands of retweets on her broadcast to summon demons to bring down the Donald. Now, I'd be remiss not to acknowledge it, but believe it or not, the occult is actually very a la mode among some of the left's most influential characters, and it actually goes back a really long way. Saul Alinsky, for instance, who's a professed hero for heavyweights on the left, including Hillary Clinton herself, who, by the way, wrote her uni thesis on the guy. Well, his magnum opus, a book called Rules for Radicals, a book used by Barack Obama as a teacher of community organizing, well, that book opens with a dedication of sorts to, well, Lucifer. The very first radical, as Alinsky refers to him, who rebelled against the establishment and did it so effectively that he at least won his own kingdom. But hey, perhaps Alinsky was just some sort of weirdo with a sick sense of humor, and his disciples treat his book as gospel without any attention to the exaltation of the evil one. Fine. Except that doesn't really explain why the top brass of today's Democratic Party attends really diabolical spirit cooking parties with Marina Abramovich, where blood, sperm, and breast milk are what's on the menu. Quick refresher, performance artist Abramovich and the dubious high-ranking Democrats Podesta brothers, well, they exchanged a series of email invitations to spirit cooking dinner parties, as evidenced in the WikiLeaks document dump. And if you don't already know it, spirit cooking isn't some sort of like cute Serbian euphemism that Abramovich imported from her homeland. No. It is a diabolical, occult ritual that Abramovich has actually been performing for over 20 years. And viewer discretion, here are some excerpts from her own videos relating to the topic. Yeah, so suffice it to say, friends and role models of the left are into some seriously satanic stuff. And It's not even just the left's beloved politicians, but their cultural icons too, like leading Democratic backers actually in Hollywood. Folks like Lady Gaga, who's also a spirit cooking kook, not to mention Gwen Stefani, Kirsten Dunst, Pamela Anderson, Minnie Driver, and Dakota Johnson, all of whom are professed Democrats who have taken part in spirit cooking rituals with Abramovich. But okay, getting back to Donald Trump. So, witches and Satanists have declared a perpetual spiritual battle against the President of the United States. And frankly, I get why he has them triggered. Trump is bringing God back into the White House.
I just have to say this because, you know, I'm a true believer, and you're many true believers. I hope all. Is everybody a true believer in this room? I think so. Christianity is being chipped away at in this country. In this country. It's being chipped away at, and I'm not going to let it happen. Do you know, I was with... And we all are equal, totally equal, in the eyes of Almighty God. We're equal. As long as we have faith in each other and trust in God, then there is no goal at all beyond our reach. There is no dream too large, no task too great. We are Americans, and the future belongs to us. The future belongs to all of you. We will be protected by the great men and women of our military and law enforcement. And most importantly, we will be protected by God.
From the campaign trail to his inauguration speech to his recent talk at CPAC and his beautiful wife Melania's reading of the Lord's Prayer in front of the press, well, the Trump family is totally unafraid to invoke God's holy name. And it doesn't help that he actually vowed to defend Christian values while in office. Now, for some, the satanic ritualism in response to all this will seem like, well, make-believe nonsense. And that's cool. You are absolutely free to see it as such. However, if you're a Christian, like I am, or if you believe in God at all, really, then you'll likely have a somewhat different view. You'll probably see that a sizable group now working against President Trump has officially and publicly transformed a cultural war into a spiritual war, a war that they're initiating between the forces of light and darkness, good and evil, right and wrong, truth and fake news. But seriously, though, while Trump is no angel, I mean, he's far from perfect. I get that. He is shameless in standing up for America and American values, which are objectively good, objectively right, and uncomfortable as it might be for some to hear, objectively Christian. There, I said it. American values are Christian values. Think about it for a second. Individual freedom. Hello, God doesn't force you to believe in him. God's acknowledgement that free will is the most crucial ingredient to a truly human experience, well, it's actually established in the very first book of the Bible, as it is time and time again in one of the most venerated documents ever written, the American Bill of Rights. Justice and equality. Christians are equal before the eyes of God. Likewise, Americans at least ought to be equal before the eyes of the law. Personal responsibility and perfectionism. Because whether you get into heaven or hell, it's really actually entirely up to you. Sinners can become saints, just like you too can work hard and achieve the American dream. Profound respect for individual human beings, a type of charity that also acknowledges natural and healthy self-love. Christians are encouraged to love their neighbor like themselves, just like America has been charitable to its neighbors, even through battles, so that they might help preserve those good and right values they love at home. But here's the thing, America has stopped loving herself. It has lost sight of its true identity as that land of providence, that city on a hill. Its political class eviscerated individualism with an expanding state and a faraway global governance, eliminating almost completely the role of the individual. They turned systems of justice into conveyor belts where some became, well, I guess, more equal than others. Personal responsibility was replaced with food stamps and a false song of victimization, while charity has been, well, perverted into care of neighbor with no care and no love of self. Trump wants to restore order, restore what's good and right and, yes, divinely inspired in America. And so, as this week marks the very beginning of the holiest season in the Christian calendar, yes, the Great Lenten Fast, let me tell you what I'm going to do. Rather than giving up something for my spiritual benefit, I'm actually going to add something instead. I'm going to endeavor to pray every day for the President of the United States. I'm going to pray that God protects and surrounds President Trump, and that any evil spell placed upon him is broken. For Trump's sake, his family's sake, for the sake of the most powerful and blessed nation on earth, and for the sake of every American who will thoroughly and tangibly benefit from God's return to the White House. And, well, I pray that you might consider joining me in this crusade. For the Rebel.media, I'm Faith Goldy. You like God and politics but can't talk about them at the dinner table? Don't worry about it. You can talk about them right here at the Rebel.media. Click below and subscribe to our YouTube channel.